Hey guys, my name is Nabiri and it's time for another Synth Saturday, and today we're gonna make screeches from samples. So I've already selected 3 samples and I want to make screeches out of all of them. So we have this short weird effect, we got a snare, and we're gonna make a screech out of a kick. So starting off with the first one. And even whenever you want to set yourself up to make a screech from a sample, it's just smart to pay a little attention to what kind of sample you're choosing. And you kind of want to hear some tonal sound in there that you can think that will sound nice as a screech. So over here, for example, this one, it already has this weird pitchy effect. And I think that when I'm going to distort this, it's going to be quite easy to make a screech from this. So let's just try. So I'm just gonna lower the volume a bit, and that's because we're gonna draw some peaks in an EQ and then we're gonna distort it, so it's gonna be clipping quite fast. Let's just take distortion for example. Just pick your hardest distortion, I like that at least. And we're just gonna see how this sounds as a distorted sound. And we can already hear which parts work of the sound as a screech and which part don't. So yeah, let's just draw some peaks in here. So this higher peak really works the best. And let's just see if we can edit the sample a little bit. So I'm just switching between the mixer with the distortion and the EQ and playing around with the sample itself, so we can maybe create an even more unique sound. So maybe with this cutoff and this RM mix, we can create a new sound. This sounds nice. And what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna cut this up randomly, and that's just sometimes needed with these longer sounds, because the tail of the distortion and all this ending of the sound over here won't sound good as a full sound, but it might sound good as a short, stuttery kind of thing as a screech. So we're gonna take our cutting tool and just, I don't know, cut it up. And it's just really important to just do whatever the fuck you want, because I don't know how this is gonna sound. Maybe when we take away some of the parts, it's gonna sound amazing, maybe not, we'll see. So let's just keep that one, maybe make it a little shorter. Maybe scroll through the waveform just a tiny bit. I'm just trying to be as random as possible. So I'm getting some random screechy bits over here. And when I export this, of course these are gonna be offbeat, but then I'd take the small sections of screech and then I put them in a screech pattern that would be on beat. So I'm just doing the sound design part right now. So right now I feel like we're getting at a sound that I like, personally at least. You can always try adding a little bit of bass in here, just a little sub. And this sub before distortion will make the screech a little bit more crunchy, but it might give you a really distorted tail sound in there. So it's just a matter of balancing it or just cutting it off when you're sampling it. So I like that. And well, there's nothing much that we can do in distortion over here, or that I want to do. It's just an extreme distortion, but we might want to open up an EQ afterwards, maybe cut some of these lows off, because when it's a screech we don't really want these lows. And when we'll sample it, we'll cut off that tail-ish sound in there and maybe boost the highs a little bit. So just trying to clean this up a little bit, I'm gonna use a balance. Sometimes that can work as well. And then you don't have that tail distorted feeling in here. And then we might get a cleaner screech. So let's just see. Put it on none. And even though I said that you could cut off the bass tail-ish sound after you sample the screech. Sometimes that distorted tail sound will just leak on from this little screech into here, so the second one or the third one will get a little bit too dirty and get that tail sound in there. And now when we cut it off in between, it's just a little bit more clean. It doesn't have these it doesn't have the frequencies of that bass in between. So what I do right now is I just record this in Edison. And over here I have my little screeches that I'm going to use over a kick. So now on to the next sample. We've got a snare over here and I just want to see if I can make a screech out of this. And I want to show you that it doesn't even matter what kind of sound you use. If you put a nice distortion on there, you can make a screech out of anything. So let's see, we're gonna lower this volume again. And this is the snare that we'll be using. And it just has a basic tonal feeling that might work for a screech. I didn't really pay too much attention in here, but just a tiny bit. So let's see what we can do. Maybe pogo it a little bit, do some random things over here, stretching it out a little bit, playing around with that cutoff. I'm just doing whatever works. Okay, so now it might be a little bit too low. So I am tuning this a little bit while I'm playing around with this. It's just a matter of being creative, but I'm listening a little bit where I'm getting these nice frequencies to distort. But now it's just a matter of throwing on your harshest distortion. If you don't have a distortion, by the way, you can also use, where are you? Wave shaper, and just pull it through the end. Maybe cut the lows. I'm just curious what's gonna happen. And maybe we can pogo this a little bit more so it has a little bit more of a pitching effect in here. Or we can pitch this like this. And maybe we need some volume editing over here with the automation clip. So it's gonna end over here and just stop playing. Now we're getting somewhere. Now we're gonna give this a little bit more body with some extra peaks. And maybe balance this out with a final EQ again. And of course cut these lows when we're gonna use this in the track. And then when I'm done with the distortion and I like the sound that I have and I balance it out a little bit, I'd export it and just make a nice little pattern with it like this, for example. So now on to the final sample, and this time we're gonna use a kick to make a screech out of here. So yeah, let's just lower the volume again, and the kick we're gonna be using is this one. So it already has that tonal punch, and I think I'm gonna scratch this, maybe with E2 mono, make it a little bit too long. And let's see, let's just put a volume over here. Just gonna use a little bit of a different technique over here. And we're gonna put an LFO on here. Make the amount totally going on and off all the time. Tension like this, and maybe pull the speed up a little bit. So we're gonna get these little screech sections. And now we got multiple pieces of kick to make a screech from. Let's just put a pogo on here. Do something random. Personally, I really like to work creatively. So sometimes you don't even need to understand what you're doing. I mean, I know what I'm doing by knowing what these knobs do over here, but I don't know how this will sound. So I'm just having fun, just trying to create a weird sound, and well, yeah, just have fun in the process while creating these sounds. It's just really important to have fun, and sometimes just doing stuff first and, well, maybe seeing what will come out of it is also a fun way of making something sick. Maybe we need to put the speed up a little bit. I actually like this sound. Like I said, I'm just not even paying attention to what I'm doing. So just do things that you think will sound good, or, well, will sound horrible. With hardstyle, with screeches, you can just use these horrible sounds to create something sick. And actually, this could be a screech already. Only thing is that we would maybe want to put a balance behind here again. So we're gonna put this balance in here, give this one a little automation clip, and maybe we can put the LFO settings from this channel volume, copy paste them in here so we get the exact same tail parts without having the bass kind of tail sound in between. So we're putting this up, it's 100%. Maybe want to play around with it some more, make it a little bit faster. Maybe you a little bit faster as well. Maybe don't want to pitch it up, pitch it down, and then up. Maybe want to start from the bottom, work it up. I don't know, just have fun. And now that we're done with this sound, I just exported it, gave it a little filter and a little pan, put some reverb over it, and maybe this is a type of effect that you want to use in your tracks. Now I hope you like this video and that it shows you that you can just be creative, do whatever the fuck you want, and just see if it gives you a nice sound. That said, I hope to see you back soon again. Cheers!